Deputy President Paul Mashatile has been sworn in as a member of parliament, and many believe this is only a matter of time, or it is only a matter of time, before he is named the country's second in command. The presidency has confirmed that David Mabuza has been asked to remain as deputy president to ensure a smooth transition. This is after he spoke at his brother's funeral, making it known that he is making space for the one that has been chosen by the conference in December. How to handle a resignation? How do you handle it, or how do you not handle it? We're joined now by brand expert Mr. Happy Ntshingila to find out. Thank you very much, sir, for your time this afternoon. I think for a couple of days it had been speculation, as there were reports that were suggesting that indeed David Mabuza had tendered his resignation. At his brother's funeral on Saturday, he made it known that indeed that is what he has done. Subsequently, the president asking him to hang 10 until things are wrapped up. What have you made of how this matter has been handled, given the sensitivity of these positions?
It hasn't been handled very well at all, because we all know what the inevitable is. As David Mabuza himself has said, he is making way for the one that has been chosen at the conference. So he's made things simple for the president. And while the president continues to prevaricate over the issue, baffles the mind. I mean, the statement while they're dealing with the modalities of his departure, now there's a turn of phrase, isn't it? It tells you that something may be rotten in the land of Denmark. Yeah, how not to handle a resignation, yes.
I mean, we're also speaking about, yes, he is the president of the country, but this is quite a successful businessman. And so you would assume that he does know the procedures and the ways of handling something like this, so that the perception that is created is that indeed the CEO does have things under control. What perception is then created about what we know to be a very consultative somebody, being the CEO of the Republic?
Well, it certainly gives the impression that the president was not ready to make this announcement, which then begs the question, why are you not ready to make an announcement about something that is obviously going to happen? I mean, we've seen all the visuals today. Paul Mashatile has been sworn into parliament, and we know what the end game is as far as that is concerned. So it really, really surprises me that when Didi Mabuza made it so simple for him, now it seems as though Didi Mabuza is the one now who wants to control his own narrative to say, I know my time is up, but nobody's making an announcement. He has said so himself that he met with the president. They've discussed this matter. So why the president continues to put this matter on hold really surprises me.
Yeah, speaking of controlling the narrative, I mean, the narrative now is that if the ruling party is not able to handle such a sensitive matter as the resignation of a deputy president, in spite of what you think of his tenure, what hope is there in making decisions for the country?
Well, the biggest problem with the ruling party, as you call it, is that when it comes to communication, they've been very, very poor. As you know, their communication is not centralized. Everybody who gets an opportunity to speak will speak on a subject. Earlier on today, Paul Mashatile was being interviewed and asked questions about what's going to happen as far as this is the reshuffle is concerned, and what his future holds. And he was pretty coy about it. And he thought he had finished the matter. Afterwards, the chief whip of the ANC was interviewed, and she was saying something that he had already said. And I thought, there's just no control in terms of who controls the narrative and who must say what about what particular matter. So it's free for all, which is not correct for an organization this big, and an organization charged with a responsibility to communicate to the nation.
When we take a look at Brand Cyril Ramaphosa in 2018, this promise of a new dawn, Ramaphoria, all these beautiful phrases that were coined, and you take a look at some of the headlines almost 6 years into it, it doesn't paint a pretty picture, or at least it doesn't instill confidence. How would you characterize Brand Ramaphosa in 2023?
Well, unfortunately, he came with so much fanfare, and as you say, made all these promises. The problem is you have a State of the Nation address coming in a couple of days. Is he going to stand up there and say, well, I made all these promises, maybe I've fulfilled a few, and I have not fulfilled a few more? Is he going to stand up and own up to it, to the fact that he made all these promises? So the Ramaphoria, as one headline said the other day, has become Rama promises, and yet all those promises have not been fulfilled. So it has definitely tarnished his image and the image of brand Ramaphosa, because he tends to make a lot of promises, but it's all talk, and we do not see any of that talk being converted into action.
In fact, speaking of that headline of Ramaphosa to Ramaphoria, there's something I saw the other day that read, Tumamina well out to Megi, so perhaps it's time to go. But when we speak of the importance of coherent messaging, why is that so important? And managing perception?
Well, communication must be predicated on a policy. And if you've got a policy, not everybody can fulfill that policy and can act on it. In order to have a coherent message, as you say, you need to have at least one common source. That would be the one that pervades that information. You cannot have everybody speaking on behalf of the organization when not everybody is endowed with the power to do so. Because as soon as you do that, then your message gets lost along the way. It has to be centralized, and it has to be controlled within a central power that understands what the policy is on particular issues, especially with a power that with a party that is charged with governing the country.
Speaking of which, are we condemning reasonably Mr. Ntshingila? And I ask maybe perhaps because there's so much being said about the head honcho, but with every general you've also got foot soldiers, right? People who are also tasked with making sure that you're running in the same rhythm, you are on the same page, you want the same thing. And so are we... I don't even know how to phrase this question, right? So is it just about one person or an entire body of people that are letting the country down?
It's not about one person. It's about one person and a litany of other leaders who have to function with him and be the communicators of the same message, because they are charged with a role to rule the country and deliver to the people. So the point is, does the one person then have the correct people working with him who understand what his policy is and who are then therefore going out there and making sure that we're all singing from the same hymn sheet and we're all working towards the same goal? Right now, it seems like we're on autopilot.
Happy Ntshingila is a brand expert. Thank you very much, sir, for your time this afternoon.